Hey everybody, and welcome to my Wednesday episode 4 of Aspiring Actors. I'm doing scene reenactments of a specific character type, that snarky action hero kind of thing, or like scientists, or it doesn't even have to be an action hero, but they're in like an action or a thriller or a drama, and they're very snarky with their personality. Just because I always enjoy the dialogue, the back and forth that they have with a similar character, and then of course they get to do those action roles and stuff. But first character I think of is in conversation at work. We were talking about little dogs and how they're like demons and stuff, like Pomeranians or Shih Tzus or something. So I was thinking of that scene in Blade Trinity when Hannibal King's character has those interactions with that small vampiristic Pomeranian, and in particular when he's all running around looking for the female protagonist or antagonist, and he stops all of a sudden because he sees the little Pomeranian come walking out of like a lit hallway, and he's in like a darker room, and he's all like, and then the dog turns and looks at him, and like its mouth open and gets all angry, and it rears up, and he's just like, fuck me, right? And then two giant Rottweilers walk into the room, face him, and then open their mouths, and bigger mouths and everything. He's like, fuck me sideways. Good doggies. Stay. And he starts running and hauling ass. He's like, nope, right? And he goes jumping over the thing, goes running over towards the balcony of the penthouse, and jumps up and holds onto the architectural beam, and then they go sliding through the glass and out, trying to get after him. And he launches himself back into the building, and you hear them crashing in the ground on the bottom, and on cars, people screaming, the dogs are yelping and barking and shit. And he starts turning around while he's looking out the balcony like, assholes, and trips over that opening he was jumping over and stuff. Hits his head on the beam on the way down, and then lands on the ground. He's like, oh, fuck, right? Like, I should have paid attention. And then the big guy who's the Pomeranian's owner looks at him, he's like, hey! Grabs him by the fucking neck and picks him up and shoves him against the wall. He's like, hey, Dick Stain, you see my dog? Have you checked the lobby? That kind of attitude, and then they get in another fight. And then earlier in the movie when he's dealing with Wesley Snipes' character, Blade, they just got done interrogating a guy, and then Blade drops him and he falls and hits the ground and dies at this parking garage. And as they're walking, he decides to take it upon himself to update everybody on the situation. He's like, so, 2 things. First, I don't know if that was such a great idea, because he could have had more information. And second, this is only kind of like a suggestion, but it would be wise to maybe every once in a while try blinking. Because he always wears his glasses. And Blade turns and looks at him. And he stops and he's like, I'm sorry. I haven't had a lot of sugar this morning. It's like, alright, that's an excuse. But I mean, it's that kind of character that I really enjoy. And so I also enjoy the latest roles of Chris Pratt's character. He plays like not Doc Holliday, but he plays Magnificent Seven. And then he plays, I think he plays Steve McQueen's character in Magnificent Seven. Yeah. Different take on it, obviously. And then he plays Owen Grady in Jurrasic Park. And I've heard or Jurassic World. And I've heard a great fan theory that Owen Grady is the boy in the first Jurassic Park who's making fun of the Velociraptor, right? He's sitting there, he's like, he doesn't look very scary. More like a 6-foot turkey. And Dr. Grant turns and looks at him. 6-foot turkey. Right? And then Ellie next to him was like, Alan, be nice, right? Let's try to imagine, it's you and I, that you're in the jungle in the late Cretaceous period. Now, you spot one in the trees ahead of you, and you stop, you freeze, because you think that their tracking is based on visual acuity, on movement. But as you stare at it, it stares right back at you. And then that's when the attack happens. Not from the front, but from the side, from the two that you never even knew were there. I think walks next to him and he's like, and that's when they cut at you with something like this. A 9-inch talon on their forward toe, right? It's like maybe they'll cut you here, or here, or here, or here. And he just starts like slightly slashing across their gut and stuff. Or maybe they cut you across here, spilling out your intestines. Point is, you're still alive when they start to eat you. So maybe show the 6-foot turkey a little more appreciation or respect. Yeah, because then Grady has the most respect for the Velociraptor, so I kind of enjoy that little fan theory. But going towards snarky characters or whatever, I really enjoy when she has to bring him in to investigate the paddock to make sure it's all safe and everything, because the new ownership wanted him to take a look at it. And he comes walking in and he's just like, so it just lives in here its entire life alone? Well, she had siblings, but she ate them. And she has no human interaction. She's like, she's bred in captivity, right? And she's like, well, your raptors were bred in captivity with siblings. See, they learn to interact with each other, to develop their social skills. So, you saying we need to schedule a play date? He looks out of the thing, he's like, it's probably not a good idea. The only positive interaction this creature has is with that crane. At least she knows she's getting fed. And then she's getting, impatient. She's like, can we drop this dead cow, please? And she starts like clicking on the glass, and as they're all looking and they can't detect her or everything, and then you see him standing over there and he's like, well, that's not good. How long have those been there? She looks over and sees the claws. We can track it from the control room, right? And so she freaks out, starts leaving and stuff. And which everyone is like, why would she leave if they can just track and tell her it's still in there, right? Because of the thing. It's like she didn't have to leave and start doing that. Anyway, I like how they go in there and he's all staring at the claws. I think that's gonna be like 24 feet high. Do you really think you could have escaped? Climbed over the wall? Depends. Depends on what? On what they cooked up in that lab. But that's kind of the seriousness of that character. But then his funny moments is when he's talking to her and they're talking about, who prints out an itinerary for a date? I'm a very organized person. And who always wears boarding shorts wherever they go? Or cargo shorts. He's like, it's Central America, it's hot. He's like, he's all sitting there, he's all like wiping his oil off his hands or whatever. He's like, you sit there and you just think of these creatures as numbers on a spreadsheet. But they're living, breathing things, They may be just creations of yours, but they don't know that. They're thinking, we gotta hunt. We gotta kill. I gotta, you can at least relate to one of those things, right? But then when they go to find her nephews, because they escaped from the bulb and everything, and they're checking them down, he's just like, you can't come with me. He's like, I'm better off alone. You can't survive out here. She's like, oh yeah. She starts rolling up her sleeves, takes her over jacket off, ties it and everything, and she's just standing there, and he's like, what does that mean? It means I'm ready. Oh, okay. Well, whatever I say goes, okay? She's like, he's like, relax. Just gonna be like a walk in the park 65 million years ago. As he takes his gun and cocks it. But I just really like those kind of characters. John McClane's a really good example of that. And even Sam Jackson's character in Response, Zeus, and then of course his other characters. But I love it when they're all in the car and they're driving. He's like, hey, Zeus, you gotta... He's like, my name's not Hey Zeus, it's Hey Zeus. You know, like Mount Olympus, father of Apollo, Mr. Shock you with a lightning bolt, Zeus. You got a problem with that? No, I don't got a problem with that. He's like, you know what, Zeus? I think you're racist. What? I think you hate white people. And they start having their arguments and stuff. But I really enjoyed John McClane in almost every one of his movies. Because he always has some sort of funny ass saying. Like he's sitting there and he's walking through the underground portion of the power unit, or the power company hub for the fourth movie, Live Free or Die Hard. And he's talking to Gabriel on the mic. And he's just like, do you know why I'm doing this, John? Did they even tell you? He's like, I told them this could happen. And what did they do? They told me, they gave me a big fuck you, that's what they did. He's just like, so, I'm showing them a lesson. Better me than some crazy person, right? He's like, oh, so that's what this is about. He's just like, why are you attacking the financial? He's just like, well, I'm working my ass off here, John. Don't you think I should get paid? Well, I'm on my way to give you a big fucking check. Right? And he's like, you talked. He hands the mic to the daughter. She's like, Dad? He stops. Yeah, baby. Now there are only 4 of them. I'm on my way. But even she had like, I love it when characters can play, or actors and actresses can play characters that are supposed to be in relation. So like when they first capture her, and the guy comes in, he's like, be careful, this bitch is a handful. And she kicks him in the nuts and he back slaps or whatever. But Thomas is like, hey, easy. He's like, now, behave yourself, or I will hurt you. Why don't we step outside, just me and you? See who hurts who. You really are his daughter. But Thomas Gabriel, actually, he had a couple good moments where he was being snarky. Like I love it when he's talking about John, dealing with that. Or in the end, near the end, she grabs the guard's gun. Well, she headbutts him, grabs his hip holster, pulls the trigger in the gun, which shoots him in the foot. And then he drops his gun in response, his primary, and she launches it, trying to get it underneath the van or a car in the distance to her dad, who's crawling on the other side. And Thomas, the guard regains control over her and stuff, and Thomas is like, kind of taking a neutral position to deal with it. He's like, you have her? And the guy's like, all right, yeah. He's all pissed and kind of choking her a little bit, but he's like, in pain, and he's like, you're sure? Like, you're sure? Like, that sarcasm, thick as shit. He's like, Matthew? And he shoots the barrel near him. He's like, I didn't say stop. Right. 30 seconds. And then you have all your money, and we're good. You just leave us alone. He's like, you hear that, John? John. He walks over and picks him up. He's just like, stay with me, John. You heard the man. 30 more seconds. This is all over. And then John's all kind of like, passing out. I mean, he's been shot and he's been fighting all fucking day. And then Thomas wants to be a little spiteful, so he sticks the barrel through John's, right shoulder. He's got a hole here and he sticks it in and he starts pushing and stuff. He's just like, stay with me, John. On your tombstone, it should read, always in the wrong place, the wrong time. And John's all sitting there, he's like, yeah, I'd rather prefer yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker, and pulls the trigger and shoots himself, but it hits Thomas in the chest and he dies. He goes flying against the car and dies, whatever. Ted, you shot yourself. Yeah, they don't know that. Don't tell them. Because then psych eval and shit. But I'm going to cut it off here. I just wanted to talk about those kind of characters, and gives me a little bit of reenactment I get to do, because I always enjoy doing those scenes. But until then, I will catch you guys Saturday with a video. I don't think we're going to be streaming D&D for a while because some of the group's still not comfortable with their characters and they don't want to be on camera exposed if they don't know exactly what they're trying to portray for their characters. So once that gets going, I'll update a YouTube video with the link and everything again. But until then, I will see you guys Saturday.